Know this stuff. To free your mind, free yourself, free your spirit, you got to know this stuff. So this is about building foundation. This is the master builder. This is the Donald Trump right here. 22 is really one of the toughest. You may have known people with that number and really call them stubborn, like the number 8. Or you may have known them to be entrepreneurs and, like Donald Trump, who has the numerical value of in fact, his life path number is 22. The second master number, the master number, or the builder's number, and of course it's evident that he carries that sort of persona. But I also term this year 2022 as looking at the number 22 as the David's year. King David, he was a poet or psalmist, musician, womanizer, you could say. He was a king, of course, and he also is said to be a man after God's heart. So that would give us a real indication of maybe God is not just as most of us would like to think. If there was a man who committed adultery and he wanted a wife, and he actually did put the woman's husband in front line of the war, you'll see that King David had expressed all kinds of emotions that you could ever imagine, or if you hadn't had one of those yourself. Of course, if you hadn't murdered someone, intentionally like he did, you probably would not know exactly what that, the extremity of that. So, of that emotion. But sadness is sadness, anger is anger, envy is envy. And in some way, we all have experienced those to some degree. So I say all of this because we are going to explore the number 22, of course, because it's the 22nd of January, of course, January the first month of 2022. So you can see that we have a lot of tools to deal with. We are more or less is like the terrible twos. In short, we are breaking the law of silence. Things that had not been revealed before, but of course, if they are being revealed now, it's that we are in tune, or we are harmonizing with the message or the statement in Genesis of chapter 1 that says everything was given for times and seasons and for days and years. If you are new to this channel, let me welcome you. And whether you are new or not, I want to welcome all of you as visitors, as subscribers. Please just subscribe to the channel. I say please, please. So we are hoping, of course, this year that we call the year of King David, I call it the year of King David. We could also call it the year of Donald Trump, or we could call it all different names like that, because years should be given names just as like hurricanes. And this year, 22 year, although I think these energies are going to carry for a while, because it's going to be so explosive, and not all of us are going to, thank God, have that impact at the same time. At least to give us some breathing space in between. So, and of course, again, you might hear of terrible twos like twins. As again, you might hear of terrible twos like twins as well. So, there's a place in Africa, so they really don't like twins there. In fact, they had this thing when someone bought twins, it's like they bring bad luck into the community, and so they would exorcise these people, and they really don't want them around. So we know when we have a child who is 2 years old, so we know what happens. So I want to actually give you in this presentation to see how the number 22 unfolds But it's not only for people who actually have this in their date of birth. It could be in your name, but also we are told on all the Egyptian walls, which is interpreted that way, to know thyself. Now we may say, okay, it is written in another language or whatever it is. That's the intelligence of the gods, because every nation or people or whatever it is, you have within you the codes, and so the language matches the codes, if you like. Or you may have different codes or in different languages where you can activate the codes in accordance to the time, season, days, and years. So you are the embodiment of 14 gods. Like in Hinduism, they revere the 14 gods. Every year they have this ceremony, celebration, which is quite big, and they call it the puja celebration. And so they recognize that they have these 14 gods. But why is Christianity not doing the same when they have within the scriptures 14 verbatim gods? 14 verbatim gods. And people, for the past few years, if this were not so, I would not be able to continue doing these teachings on this structure of the 14 gods. The 14 gods are basically like your 7 good virtues and your 7 not so good virtues, or the 14 or the 2 serpents which forms the caduceus, or the left and right. Our first love is with the breast. You could say, let's do our first love with the breast. Then we move to the invisible nipple one, the buttocks. So you are working from up and down. Again, this is the McDonald's, the mouth, the E, the 3, and all of these right there. So everywhere we go, we see the symbol of this is being shown to us, but we are only relating to it through it, through it. That's why we call everything it, which is also 11. Okay, 11 of course takes us to this 14. 1, ONE equals 7, another ONE equals 7. That's how we have the 14 gods. But adding 1 plus 4 together takes us back to Mother Eve, takes us back to the genealogy of Jesus Christ, takes us back to my mother having 14 children, and I'm the 5th child. So, 1 plus 4 is 5, and being the 5th child, and I, of course, I'm also a different father to the other 13 siblings. So, my dear people, that tells me something. I read something into this. I'm like a bridge, I'm like a link. I'm here. It's about knowing who you are. Okay, know thyself. Where are you in your family? You didn't just happen to be the first or second or third. What does that mean? Kind of ask it questions. So there's another 13 people. Then we would do 1, which equals 16, which of course is 7. This is 4, and this is 4. But I wanted to explain to you the story, but I have to touch back on Jesus and Judas. Remember I said that the 2 of them actually died from the 13th, and we did the numerical values, and when we extract the letters that they actually sacrifice, you could say they actually sacrifice the 11. They carried that 11, 1, each of them being 1, but they also, you could say, represent the other 11 disciples that were left. And that's why Christians, more and more I am seeing the idea about how Christianity, or the framework that they are built on, more and more I'm beginning to understand it, but they are not teaching it, because there are people controlling something to be able to, you've got to know this stuff. To free your mind, free yourself, free your spirit, you've got to know this stuff about this 22, or the double, or the master number. You've got to know it. We are not given 2 lips together, stuck here, having a relationship, moving, speaking by chance, or the 2 nostrils breathing in and out at the same time, or the 2 eyes to being able to focus on something at the same time, or your breast, or whatever, your 2 arms. These are not there by chance. And so we need to understand the secret of the master number 22 or any master number. But this is what we are working on now. Okay. So already we can see, and we are doing, it's like we are breaking this down, breaking the law of silence. So we have another 2, and of course, which is 13, another 2, which is 13, and just to see what King David actually had to go through. And we only read about, yeah, he killed Goliath. This is how he earned his title. You know, he was the shepherd boy who slain, a stone and killed the giant Goliath. Now, I must really tell you, all this Goliath is actually your lower chakra. Just like in the story of Moses, which equals 8, and Aaron actually equals 22. This is about Egypt going to the land of Canaan, whether they were wandering wherever, in whatever, but that is to do with the chakras. It is in relation to the chakras, getting ignited, getting your third eye open, people. Hey, number 2, actually, these twos here, they are catastrophic. They are wild. They will do, this is what they will have the gift of the gab, like Donald Trump. This position by chance, people. No, no, no. It's about building foundation. This is the master builder. This is the Donald Trump right here, people. So he is actually the 14th of the of June, I remember, and it's 1966, 46. I think it's 46. It cannot be. Also puts Donald Trump in a very good position, especially as having this 1 hair as the master number, the Jesus hair, and of course he has 6 and this is 5. So this 2 is also 11. So adding this together is 22. And of course, he is 4. Have to click that subscribe button, and leave your comments. And if there is anything that you'd like me to explore, or questions or comment, please feel free to do so. So as we endeavor to continue exploring, which I believe will happen, we will see that in the 6th number of impregnation, that you will see how the number 22 is going to have all its contraction. That's the word. I'm going to do this because contraction. So people, we are showed a wonderful equation here, as we can see that the word contraction equals 6 and we end with 6. So what happens is that we have been showed all the hidden aspects of the number 2, you could say, or of any number in that formula, but it shows us like the 2 creations happening within and without, above and below, and this is the law of polarities in contraction. So the year 6 carries 3 tiers, you could say, of contractions. Like King David, Trump with number 22 has got those contractions, so we can see that evidently. And that's why there is an aspect, no matter what we could say about this man, he has a sense of solidity around him. He, whatever it is, there is some structure. But it also means that he has been the King David as well. His name has gone into how he's been with women, or how he's flippant with his words. And these are all about the same essence of the 22. Remember, people, that's the contraction. That's what the spirits just tell me to do this. And we are talking about contraction here. This is what is going to happen. We are going to have a lot of contractions through this number 22. 1 plus 3 is 4, 2 plus 2 is 4. So I leave you with this, people, and please like and subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave your comments, and stay ignited.